Hi everybody, Dugras here with Dugras Reports. Welcome to another episode of Frugal Points, the show where I drive in my car and talk to you about the philosophical side of points and miles. So today I'm going to go over some things that annoy me in the credit card community as a whole. And I'll just list them off until I run out of things to say. Before I dive in though, on this particular channel, we talk about finding epic value, including, but not limited to, credit card rewards for the average American. Does that sound interesting to you? If it does, please subscribe to the channel, and please click the thumbs up button. You can also become a channel member, a Dugras diehard, for only $3 a month, and get access to extra videos that I don't release to the general public, which tend to be on the more philosophical side. For example, this video will start as a member-only video, and then a few weeks later turn into a general public video. Let's dive in. Okay, so some random things that annoy me about the credit card community. Number one is I don't think people and some content creators really put enough thought into annual fees. The way I view annual fees is that they are basically you prepaying for a benefit, and often that benefit is tied to a specific currency. For example, if you have the IHG rewards card and you pay the $99 or $95 a year, you're basically prepaying for whatever benefits you get from that card, which includes a free night certificate. I believe it's up to 40,000 points that can be topped off. That's worth prepaying, but let's honestly think of it as prepaying for that service. In other words, you should say, I'm going to take $99 of cash back out of my cash rewards or travel budget and use that to prepay the annual fee, because I'd rather do that instead of paying for an IHG hotel. And that's totally cool. Just bear in mind that you are locking yourself into using an IHG property at least once a year. Depending on your situation, that might be a good idea. For me, it's a good idea. I'm totally willing to do that. Another example would be Chase cards. I have a truckload of Chase cards between my wife and I. Only one of them charges an annual fee though. Let me be more specific. Only one Ultimate Rewards earning card charges an annual fee. It's the Sapphire Preferred. So I sort of view the Sapphire Preferred's $95 annual fee as the fee that Chase charges me to have access to transfer partners. Because let's all be honest, I'm not putting a lot of spend on my Sapphire Preferred. Actually, very little. Cards like the Ink Business Cash and the Freedom Flex are doing all the heavy lifting. The Sapphire Preferred is just the commander of the army, or the queen bee, that directs how those funds are used. It gets even more fudgy when you get into the high annual fee cards, like the Amex Platinum. Are you wanting to prepay $695 a year for all that service, which is, the airline incidental credit, the monthly dining credit, the lounge access, whatever else, the coverages and protections? And if you are, that's totally fine. I'm not against that or trying to shoot it down. But would you move $695 out of your travel budget for those things? My opinion is you should. You should literally keep a separate travel budget and move the money out of it to pay those annual fees if you're serious that you're willing to absorb those annual fees. Don't just have it come out of your general family budget or not keep track of where it's coming from. And that kind of brings me to my second point of things that kind of annoy me. A lot of people in the credit card community either intentionally or unintentionally speak as though everyone is a high wage earner. let's be honest, multiple surveys have pointed out, people like Frequent Miler have pointed out, that most people who use credit card rewards are doing basic economy travel. They just want to go to Florida once a year. They want to go to grandma's house in Texas once or twice a year. Those kinds of things. Most people aren't taking the time to arrange business class international flights 4 to 12 times a year. Now, if you are in a position in life where you can arrange international business class flights 4 to 12 times a year, great. But let's just be honest about the situation. Things like your overall income and your schedule flexibility, whether you're self-employed, whether you work in the gig economy, or whether, like me, you work a regular 9-to-5 job, whether or not you have kids, those all play into that equation. So it kind of annoys me that we act like we can all drop everything and fly to South Africa in February, and then also fly to Bora Bora again in April, when really we can't. And maybe that's part of the reason why a lot of people shouldn't be paying so many high annual fees, because there are lots of cards out there that can enable you to go to Florida once a year and grandma's house twice a year, basically for free. Maybe those are the ones you should concentrate on. Now, to clarify, if a YouTube creator wants to focus on those high income earners, that's totally fine. But just remember, free travel isn't free. And there was a great video Luke from Luke's Points and Miles did recently, talking about how, he's still dropping a few $1,000s on a trip, even though the lodging and the flights are all paid for with points, or at least as much as possible. That's just something to keep in mind. As an example, there's a podcaster, Fly Free MD, who does travel for medical professionals. And obviously most medical professionals make over $150,000 a year, and they go to conferences and those kind of things. So they're going to have a very different point of view than the blue-collar guy who works in a factory and makes $40K a year. Number 3 is the over-the-top love for the Capital One Venture X. Now, I guess I'm partially guilty of this too. I have a Venture X. I've had it for 2 years now, or at least I'm in my second year right now. And certainly with the sign-up bonus in the first year, it makes nothing but sense. But the more I think about it, A, there's nothing that it does that I can't get elsewhere, and B, I think they're devaluing it over time. So when I say A, nothing I can't get elsewhere, it gets 2x on everything. Well, what also gets 2x on everything? The Citi Double Cash. And who has comparable transfer partners to Capital One? Citi. So if I have the combination of the Citi Double Cash plus the Citi Premier, it does basically all the same things as the Venture X. Now, I realize that the Venture X has 10,000 free points a year, and that's great. No complaints there. But then to offset the $400 annual fee, you've also got $300 worth of credit, quote unquote, in the travel portal per year. Now, they used to actually give you a statement credit. Now it's just a credit in the portal. So if you're paying Capital One's annual fee, and this harkens back to point number 1, basically what you're saying is, of my annual fee, $300 is just me prepaying for travel in the Capital One portal. Now, if somebody said, I'll give you a coupon for $300 worth of travel, and you have to pay me $300, would you take that deal? Well, no, you wouldn't, because why would you pay $300 for $300? I just don't think it quite makes a ton of sense. Now, if Capital One has some unique transfer partner, great. If you're really in love with the Hertz President's Circle status that it confers automatically, great. Haven't looked into a lot of detail. Pretty sure you can get that other places for just about free if you're already in the credit card game. So I would rather probably just pay Citi the $95 annual fee and have that 2-card combination I mentioned with the double cash and the Premier than having the Capital One. Now, having said that, I'm a bit of a hypocrite, but I'm 95% sure that at the end of year 2, the Capital One Venture X is going away for me. Dare I say it? The Venture X is popular because it has a refer a friend bonus? Maybe. Number 4 thing that annoys me: how much bashing of the Chase ecosystem there is. I hear a lot of people say things like, come on Chase, you gotta get with the times. You know, you don't even have a dedicated grocery category. And another complaint is, I hate the rotating category cards. They're so hard to use. I don't know why. Maybe it's just me. I don't find the rotating categories to be that hard to use. In fact, it's usually things like, well, let's just review what some of them have been. Amazon, Walmart and Target, grocery, gas, pharmacy. It's been a little while since they have pharmacy, but they have had it. Home improvement stores, PayPal. To me, these are all things that are really easy to utilize. Now, admittedly, maybe that's partially because I'm willing to buy gift cards. I'm willing to go to Home Depot or Lowe's and buy a gift card for something like a gas station or Amazon that I would use anyway. So that makes it a little easier. Or use the PayPal tap to pay option for getting a gift card at CVS Pharmacy. But man, that Chase Inc. Business Cash where you get 5x at office supply stores, those rotating categories, even the Sapphire Preferred, occasionally with the online grocery I use that. It just seems like that plus Chase offers, you know, they're not a lot, but I'm constantly pulling down tons of value from Chase, and to me it's not even that hard to use. Plus, although 524 is annoying, they're very predictable. Chase doesn't tend to surprise you with things like the dreaded pop-up. There's no questions about, like, why couldn't I get approved, generally. You know, as long as you're under 524 and have like a 710 credit score, you're probably getting approved with Chase. And while they don't have truckloads of interesting transfer partners, they've got Hyatt, they've got Air Canada, they've got United, they've got Air France KLM. If it was just those, I'd be pretty happy. They also have British Airways, which you can use to backdoor flights into American. So, yeah, not really that upset with Chase. Plus, again, $95 to access their entire ecosystem with multiple cards. Well, I think that's as far as I'm going to get tonight. 4 different things that annoy me in the credit card community. This isn't meant to single out anyone in particular, but I would like to hear your opinions, both opinions that agree with me and disagree with me, so please put a comment below. And if you would be willing to subscribe to the channel if you find any value, as always, may your spending be frugal, and may your points be plenteous.